And welcome back to Block TV. Time for Trader's Take. And no better time than the present, as the last 24 hours have been an incredible ride. After 3 days of solid climbs, last night we saw a sudden price drop across the board, with many currencies failing by double digits. Bitcoin alone is down 8% on the day, dropping from a daily high of 4,200 to what it's currently trading at, roughly 3,800. All in all, $11 billion erased. And to help us make sense of this emotional ride, we are joined from the East Coast by the one and only, our Joe Saz. Joe, first of all, thank you so much for being with us today. As I said, 11 billion erased.
Absolutely, yeah. I prefer to use the term moved. I think I kind of look at it like matter is neither created nor destroyed, and it's like, when it's just moved because, it's like moved to fiat or moved to other stores of, stores of value. So I think it's like a deceptive term, you know what I mean? It's kind of like it saying it's like, when Wall Street or whatever, Bloomberg says it's, been deleted from the crypto market or whatever, however they word it. To me, it's like, people are moving money constantly. You know what I'm saying?
Look at it that way, I think may help all of us survive this emotional ride. That said, let's take a look at the charts before we also discuss quickly why do you think this ride, from rally to bust, so to speak, happened. Let's take a look.
Absolutely. So I'm going to actually jump into a very important view here. Now, let me switch this to the weekly. We closed this weekly candle super ugly. And, in the short time that we've been doing this, hopefully you've learned a little bit from me.
I have.
This is a reversal candle.
Right.
Remember, when the wick is really long on top, preferably greater than 2/3 of the length of the body. Here's the body of the candle, and here's the wick.
Yeah.
That makes this an inverted hammer. And an inverted hammer is a reversal candle to the downside. So this is a very big looking reversal hammer, and we can even pull up a couple other examples. Here's a little bit of a hammer. Here's a huge hammer. This was a huge reversal back out of this, terribly low space and to a nice looking area. Obviously, that would have been an excellent tradable bounce. So you see that a lot of these reversals are signaled by a hammer, right, or an inverted. Right now, we're looking at this insane price action that happened over the past couple weeks, put us into an inverted hammer. We closed the weekly yesterday on an inverted hammer. I don't think this is looking good. To me, this is telling us that we might have, a little bit of hope, because a lot of people are looking at this daily chart saying, oh, this is just a normal pullback. This is, what we were expecting. But I actually disagree with that sentiment.
What do you think it is?
I think this candle signals what the market is actually thinking. Like, look, all this progress, almost 2 pumps worth of progress, is gone in one candle. Most traders, yeah. Remember when I was telling you a couple days ago? I think what this tells me is that the majority of people in the space right now are traders. This isn't fresh new money entering the space. This isn't, people that got excited by 80,000 Bitcoin worth of contracts on CME. This isn't, Chinese New Year doing too much more, maybe some gift giving toward the end of it or something. But I don't see fresh money entering the space. I see traders trading. And when you see traders trading, that means there's going to be a lot more losers than there are normally, right?
The status quo of trading, so to speak. Interesting. Let's take a look at the charts and, this, so to speak, roller coaster ride across the board.
Yeah. So all right. So let's just move along here. I just want to point out here, the long position domination was at something like this, almost 54% days ago. So there's a huge flip. So I just want that, people to be aware of that. There's a lot of liquidations going on right now, so it's a very choppy waters to trade. All right, so here we are, 26K longs against 17K on Bitfinex. So that's actually not consistent with BitMEX, but BitMEX has a higher trade volume, so I kind of pay attention to both. This doesn't change much. All right, so let's just look at the top cryptos. Ethereum down 16%. Holy cow!
Wow,
man, I would not be. I would be ditching my margarita for something else. I
Something,
would
yeah, this calls for a whiskey, you say, not a celebratory one. Okay. Yeah.
So like, and I think we drew this line here, and like we almost hit perfectly where my pullback target was going to be, and here we are on this descent. Like I've been saying, I don't see these pumps as sustained market action, and I think I don't. To me, I don't know if we're going to be seeing new lows just yet.
I'm wondering with you, and maybe I'm wrong, because today, I mean, it's approximately, the beginning of the week, but on the 27th, that's just several days away, there's the big awaited Constantinople fork. Do you think we'll see that in the charts? Do you think that'll have an effect?
With that's a tough question to answer right now. I would say yes, but it was an easier yes January 16th when we were a month away from bear market lows
Right.
than the end of February, early, March range. So, like one of the things that I look at is memory. If people are scared because of something crazy that just happened, like a hard fork for Bitcoin Cash that Craig Wright was calling for, the collapse of
Right.
Bitcoin and all this stuff, that was a different memory, and memories have, like, a shelf life, of course, right? Like 20K, no one remembers 20K right now. You know what I mean? Everyone remembers 6K, if that.
Sure. Sure.
And people are rejecting 4,200. So, I'm kind of like, is the hard fork going to destroy the price action, or is it going to make it look terrible? Is it going to paint the markets red? Um,
Okay.
I
No,
wish
no,
you'd
it's
ask.
it's it's one of the one that one can theorize about, but interesting as you said. I think it's to be filed under one eye open. Joe, take us through the rest of the charts. Let's see how they're all doing.
So yeah, Ethereum's looking pretty bad. I'm not a bag holder here, so all right. So moving along to Litecoin, let's see what they had. 15%. Now, so Litecoin was really interesting. They were the only ones so far, like, that I'm really paying attention to, that made it back to the bottom of the descending triangle. This is a pretty big breakdown, and you can see the moving average already reacting to this one candle.
Right.
So I'm still expecting this downward move. Now, like, I need to pull this up so that we can see the fake out. A lot of people are seeing this as a higher local low, which means upward, this upward trend line. And I actually don't 100% think this trend line is going to play out, but this is actually very reminiscent of this action right here, where we established a new low coming out of, all-time highs, and we had a lower high, and this gave a lot of people hope. This was actually a really big candle, or a really big few weeks, or however long this was, because a lot of people were calling this, I believe it was this one, maybe it was this one, a cup and handle. So anyways, point is, lower lows don't necessarily signal much,
Right.
because we're looking at history here, but it wasn't long before that trend line was revisited and then decimated. You know, we ended up kind of hitting it again here. I'm not doing this perfectly. I'm kind of moving fast here, but you see my point.
Yeah. No, no,
Uh,
definitely, definitely. Okay.
so let me move on. Oh, go ahead.
And moving to, well, okay.
Okay, yeah. So XRP, they
XRP.
dropped 10%. They actually are looking worse than everyone else. Everyone else popped a lot higher. So let's see what happens. They were rejected by the top side of this channel. Even though we kind of closed right on top of these red dots, that was resistance. I'm going to still say that is resistance for XRP, and I'm going to see how we act on the bottom end of this channel. XRP might be an excellent asset to trade. I don't want to touch it because, I don't like to, touch hot potatoes. But, this looks like you might be in a channel.
Yeah.
So we could be seeing some interesting price action there. Let's see how it pans out.
And moving along to, Tron.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm still betting on this death cross over here. Let's see. I'd be really excited to see the timing play out perfectly. This is a weird looking candle. It looks like a lot of short positions were wrecked, but we ended up closing down here, so a lot of long positions are done. Um, you know, it's just Tron doesn't look as bad as the other
As
ones.
the
but I
rest,
still,
yeah, as the rest of the charts, one can say. We got one more to go, right?
Sure. Yeah, and here's EOS. Let's see
Yes,
what their numbers
yeah.
are. 16 down, 21 up. So, yeah, it looks like there aren't too many people trading this as, viciously as let's say Bitcoin. 10% and 10%. So, yeah, again, this took out two pumps worth of action in a single candle. And that just tells me that the same fear that I've been expecting us to be acting on is very present in the market space. Like that, erasing weeks worth of action is indicative to me that fear is still fresh.
No, fear
Not
is
not
fresh.
that
Not only the fear is fresh, I think it's kind of indicative also to what we're expecting. What were some of the predictions for 2019? But Joe, that was a very close and personal look at what we saw over the course of the last 24 hours. There you have it, all the charts at this point in time, after what seems to be a back in the red for all of them. Joe Sads from the East Coast, thank you so much for joining us. That would be it for us for Traders Take today. Of course, do not forget to check us out, BLOCKTV on Facebook, Twitter, Telegram. Write us questions, we'll answer, and we'll be right back.